So another player is on the trade block, and of course, Eagles fans want him. Because if Eagles fans were playing GM, they would have already used all of the Eagles' draft capital. They would have traded for Jadeveon Clowney. They would have traded for Minka Fitzpatrick. They would have traded for Melvin Gordon. They probably would have traded for Antonio Brown. And now, Jalen Ramsey. All right, so the first thing I want you guys to look at is this: salary cap space for the Philadelphia Eagles. In 2020, they're going to be 22nd. In 2021, they're going to be 30th. In 2022, they're going to be 29th overall in salary cap space. So not only do you need to give up draft compensation to go get Jalen Ramsey, then you got to go pay him. And the Eagles don't have a lot of cap space. So not only do they not have a lot of cap space, it's also going to be difficult because you're going to be giving up draft compensation for Jalen Ramsey. The Eagles already have the third oldest roster in the NFL. You just paid Carson Wentz. Fletcher Cox is making over $100 million. It's going to be kind of tough to squeeze Jalen Ramsey under the cap after you trade for him. Now, obviously, if there's anybody who can do it, it's Howie Roseman. So, next thing I want to look at here, Spot Rack. Let's look at Spot Rack. Cornerback rankings in terms of average annual value. Darius Slay is the highest paid cornerback in the league right now in terms of average year salary, $15.9 million. So what would a potential deal for Jalen Ramsey look like? Well, obviously he's the best cornerback in the league. He's better than Darius Slay, better than these guys in the top five. So Darius Slay is number one here. Jimmy Smith, number two. A.J. Boye, Ramsey's teammate there in Jacksonville, is number three. Janoris Jenkins, number four. And Josh Norman, number five. So what would a deal look like? I'm guessing that Jalen Ramsey is going to get somewhere between $75 to $85 million for a 5-year deal. So, he'd get over 75 because he's going to get over more than Darius Slay. So between 80 to 85 million, I'd say 5-year, 80 to 85 million that Jalen Ramsey is going to get. Look, if there's anybody who could fit it under the cap, it would be Howie Roseman. But man, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough because there's a difference between trading for Ramsey and trading for Minka Fitzpatrick because of all the years he had on his rookie deal. Whereas Ramsey, you get him for this year and next year before you got to pay him. Whereas Fitzpatrick, you would have had him potentially for 4 years because of the 5th-year option. So 4 years under his rookie deal. That's why that deal was so appealing to me and making a trade for Minka Fitzpatrick. So 4 years from now, when you finally got to pay him, some of these other guys are kind of coming off the books a little bit. And Howie Roseman, it would make it a little bit easier to maneuver around the cap. So with Ramsey, I don't know if they can get this done. I would be mildly surprised if the Eagles traded for Jalen Ramsey. That doesn't mean I don't want him. Oh, hell yeah, I want him. He's the best cornerback in the league. But this goes again, like you got to pick your spots when you trade. You can't just trade for everybody. And that's what people want to do here in Philly. They just want to trade for everybody. Just trade picks, trade picks, trade picks, trade picks, trade picks. So there's that. I did see a report here. I guess this is Diana Russini of ESPN reporting 47 minutes ago on her Twitter. There are teams interested in trading with the Jacksonville Jaguars for Jalen Ramsey. This is what I'm told has been offered so far. A first in 2020 and a fifth in 2021 from an NFC team and a first in 2020 and a player from an AFC team. If that's what Jacksonville's getting, I would recommend them play out the season with Jalen Ramsey and trade him in the offseason. You might be losing some leverage here if, he wants out, and then if teams are knowing that, like, you're basically forcing your hand, they're not going to give as much draft capital, when the leverage is like that. So I'm looking at this, a first and a fifth, man. I would think that it's going to take a little bit more than that, but maybe not. I was thinking it was going to be a first and a third. So the first and the fifth, is that the Eagles? Well, here's the thing. Here's the other problem with giving up a first-round pick if you're Philadelphia. Giving up a first-round pick if you're Philly isn't like giving up a first-round pick if, like, say you're the Bills or something. The Bills might potentially be picking in the top 10. The Eagles are going to be picking in the 30s or the high 20s, basically. They're going to be one of the best teams in football. So their first-round pick isn't really going to be that appealing to Jacksonville. They would have to give up more. So I would think like a first and a third would be the deal to get Ramsey. And if you did bring Ramsey in, would it help things defensively? Like I would think so. You know, I talked about this last year, and when people got on Jalen Mills, I kept talking about the scheme, and I kept talking about how, you know, sometimes Jim Schwartz doesn't put his cornerbacks in a position to succeed. He plays all that off coverage. And everybody was just shitting on Jalen Mills last year and shitting on Jalen Mills and shitting on Jalen Mills. And instead of shitting on Jalen Mills now they're taking that anger and dishing it out on Ronald Darby because of his game on Sunday. Some of it, a lot of it, has to do with the scheme. Jalen Ramsey is a physical corner. He likes to press you at the line of scrimmage using his physicality. And Jim Schwartz is a guy who likes to play off. So is Jalen Ramsey going to be able to play off? Like, I don't want Jalen Ramsey to come in here and play off. I want him to be physical, press at the line of scrimmage. That's what I want from him. I don't want him coming in here playing Jim Schwartz's style and his scheme. So Ramsey, man, athletic kid, still only 24. So if you pay him a 5-year contract, you're getting him in his prime. So it's a trade I would make if you had the cap space. I just don't know if Howie Roseman can pull it off, and that's my concern with this. So those are my thoughts here. Eagles have the third oldest roster in the NFL. So draft compensation, if you trade for Jalen Ramsey, you're losing picks in the cupboard. Important picks that you need because of the contract that you just gave to Carson Wentz. So this isn't as simple as, you know, just, oh, let's go get Jalen Ramsey. No, there's a lot of variables and a lot of other factors in play. Those are my thoughts for right now. Adrian Fedkiw, out. Peace.